good evening and welcome. Tonight we'll be going over the history and geography of Palau. Palau is located in Oceania, in a region known as Micronesia. So we have Melanesia just to the south there, Polynesia over there, and Micronesia to the north of them. I suppose the differences between those is that Melanesia is more of a very tribal kind of society. Their skin is much darker and they have their very strict ancient customs that many people still follow. In Polynesia, that's more of like the tiki Hawaiian style of South Pacific culture. And then Micronesia is just the extra. They're the Hufflepuff of Oceania. They're just etc. They all have their own distinct cultures as well, but I feel like they're much more Western influenced than Melanesia and Polynesia. And you'll see why in its history. So, after we go over history, I'll grab my tablet so I can show you exactly where Palau is located in the world. But imagine the Philippines is just that way. It's in the western half of an area known as the Caroline Islands, which is a lot of like the Federated States of Micronesia and various other islands. But Palau's a bit different from all of them, and you can really tell just by looking at this map if you've seen my other videos on Micronesian countries, because this is a gigantic island compared to the other countries. The other countries are made up of mostly coral atolls, and Palau certainly does have its coral. You can see all the coral around here and circling down, creating a big lagoon area here. But the mainland is volcanic. All of the volcanic activity is long gone in Palau, but the land thusly remains. This huge island here is known as Babel Daub, and it contains the capital city. So Melekeok is the region that the new city is in. Nerulmud, you can see right here, is the new capital city. It's a planned capital. So the old capital was down here in Koror, which is still the largest kind of city. I hesitate to call it a city because only a few thousand people live there. It's not a very populated country, but it is the largest out of any in Palau. So it was here. They've relocated the capital up to here, and they're building new government buildings, which I'll also show you on the tablet because they're really interesting. The rest of the island is very jungly, mountainy, and very tropical, very thick forests. The main islands you see here that aren't the coral are also very thick, jungly, rocky, mountainous. The rocks being mostly limestone, so very soft and easy to carve and make cool things out of, which the people of Yap Island, you can see right here, used to their advantage to make the ray stones or rye stones on this island. So let me see. In between Koror here and Belileu down here, we have this stretch of really amazing islands in this lagoon area. And they're known as the Rock Islands, and they're absolutely gorgeous. You'll see them in the tablet, of course. They're actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, in that there's a lot of ancient sites on these islands, and also they're just very beautiful. They remind me of when you mix oil and water and the oil flows to the top and makes little weird shaped patterns on top of the water. That's what they look like. It's very beautiful. You'll see what I mean. They're very distinct and very lovely. Belileu down here is mostly famous for its World War II relics. The jungle is full of old tanks and bombs and rusted out metally war paraphernalia. I don't know how to describe it. yet, but we'll see them on the tablet as well. That's Bellaloo is the site of a very huge World War II battle between the Americans and Japanese, so we'll talk about that in history as well. And then down here we have Angar, which is kind of the last in this little archipelago here of the main islands. It was mainly used for phosphate mining, which if you've seen my Nauru video, you know that phosphate is a mineral made from bird poop, to be blunt, and is extremely good for fertilizer. It makes fantastic fertilizer, but the mining process of it completely destroys the environment. So the mining, although lucrative, halted in the 1950s to kind of preserve the island. And it's a finite resource. Is it really worth destroying the island for it? I mean, look at Nauru, right? Also, Angaur is the only place outside of Japan to have Japanese as an official language. The Japanese owned Palau for quite a while, which, like I said, we'll talk about in history. So the people here spoke Japanese for a long, long time and still do today. There are more islands of Palau much farther kind of southwest from here, known as the Southwest Islands, very aptly named. They are very tiny. Some are coral atolls, and only about 40 people total live on them. So they are very remote. They have their own languages and their own customs, which are a bit different from most of Palau up here. But nevertheless, they're still historically part of Palau. And let me see, I think that's all that I wanted to mention. It turns out that, it says in my notes, this is interesting to me, that the capital is the lowest elevated capital in the world and also the least populated capital in the world. It's interesting. But let's get into its history because it's very different from the rest of Micronesia. The first settlers would have arrived here between the 3rd and 2nd millennium BCE, most likely from the Philippines and Taiwan. They had their own customs and cultures, but it wasn't recorded. So what we know about it is what we see today in their relics and the buildings that they made, which were very beautiful. Maybe we'll see some on the tablet, I'm not sure. The first sighting by Europeans was of the Spanish in 1522, but they just kind of made note. I think they saw the Southwest Islands and just moved on because they were heading toward bigger and better things over in the Philippines. It wasn't until 1697 that some Palauans were shipwrecked on the Philippines, that they met up with the Jesuit priest that was like the local Jesuit priest in the Philippines, which was owned by Spain, I should say, if you don't know. And they described their islands to them, and the priest sketched it down and sent it off to Spain to the other priests there and said, look, there's a whole other place out here that we don't know about. We should check that out. And there were many expeditions to try to get priests here that failed, but were eventually successful by 1710, but they didn't do much with the lands over here. It was not as lucrative as the other areas, mainly the Philippines, and Palau was officially made part of the Philippines, belonging to Spain. In 1783, the British shipwrecked on the islands here. And as they, I shouldn't say the British, like all of the British, but a British ship was shipwrecked in Palau. The British sailors who were there repairing their ship to head back to the UK met Prince Lebu, and Prince Lebu hopped on board and went back to the UK with them to experience life over in Britain, and it was quite a spectacle, as you can imagine. Lots of social events, lots of staring, lots of questions about what that strange foreign world is like over in the Pacific. And after a few weeks, he contracted smallpox and passed away. But it was like a big spectacle, like I said. The Spanish fought a devastating war with America in the 1890s, which they lost horribly and were going bankrupt. So in 1899, they sold the islands to Germany, which Germany, as one of the newer nations in Europe, was looking for colonies. So it was a win-win, you know. Germany wanted more territory, the Spanish needed money, and there we go. The Germans tried to develop, this was when they started phosphate mining over here, and tried to develop what they could in the area, but then World War I rolls around. And in 1914, Japan invaded and annexed the islands. Since Japan was part of the Allies in World War I, and they went through all the German territories in Oceania and took them away from Germany to cut off that revenue source. After the war, the League of Nations, which was before the United Nations, gave Palau officially to Japan, and Japan went and built it up even more, mining and building infrastructure and implementing Japanese culture onto the island, since it was Japan, technically. They built a big base on Palau, which when World War II would roll around, they would use that as their base, I should say, to invade the Philippines and bounce off to other various parts of Oceania. So the Allies knew that this was an important place to attack. So in 1944, the Battle of Palau happened, and the Americans went out and they liberated Palau and took them over. The Americans took over quite a few islands, including, the Philippines belonged to America before this. The Japanese took over, the Americans got it back. So Palau was lumped back in with the Philippines, but then in 1946, the Philippines declared independence. And the people here were like, historically we were part of the Philippines, but we're not Filipino. Like, our ancestors came from there, but we're not Filipino culture. We're not part of that. So they were granted their independence as well. In 1978, they voted against joining Micronesia, as Micronesia was gaining its formal official independence. They decided not to join them. They wanted to be their own thing. And they became a republic in 1981. And to this day, they're still technically a part of America, but not quite. They're part of the Compact of Free Association, which means that they can travel to the U.S. and back with their passports. They have a United States zip code and can get mail. They can enlist in the United States military and can very easily get American citizenship and can live in the United States if they so choose. That way it helps their economy flourish, so they're not just left all on their own with no help from any nation. They have considerable help from the United States. And that's pretty much where we are today in history. Very interesting, right? Let me go grab my tablet and we'll look at how beautiful this land is. All right. So here's Palau from way high up. I'm going to zoom out so you can see where exactly we are in the world. So there's the Philippines, it's Indonesia, Malaysia down there. There's the island of New Guinea, and Papua New Guinea is just there. You can see Taiwan up there and Japan just up here. So that is where we are in the world. There's Palau. And just by zooming out, you can see highlighted some other islands of Palau. Right there. You can see how much farther they are from the rest of the islands here. So let's take a look at this amazing place. Let's start off with the capital. We have the capital city here. So Melekeok is the big bustling city area over here, as you can tell. And look how absolutely busy it is, right? And then over here is the new planned Capitol building. Really, really neat. So let's take a look at this building a little more up close. This complex here. Very fancy, right? Very American inspired. And then we have a traditional Palauan longhouse with the flag design in the middle there. Isn't that neat? So when I was saying like buildings from ancient times, this is what I was talking about. Isn't that awesome? Ooh, fancy inside. I haven't looked at these pictures. So I hope we see something good. Lots of different monuments and things. Republic of Palau. It says 1981. That looks like the United States Capitol. Framed picture. Oh, that's so cool. Very neat. That's the longhouse from the side. I see. Very cool. Like I said, I haven't seen these pictures, so I'm just enjoying Office of the President. Ooh, fancy. Beautiful. Anyway, let me show you something cool. Now, I can't translate this, but they've made this, Ali Palau. So I wonder if that means like welcome to Palau, or maybe even this is Palau. But pretty cool, I think. It's a big old neat complex that's still under development and still becoming its own big thing. I think that's neat. Okay, let's move down to Koror. See just how big this island is and how thickly forested it is. I forgot to point out the highest point on my map. Ooh, waterfalls. Let's see. Nardmau. Oh, isn't that beautiful? That's so stunning. I bet it's quite a hike to get there, and it's probably very humid, but gorgeous. I bet that water feels nice too if you put your feet in it. Very cool. Let's see. I'm not sure it's on this map, darn, but it's in this area here. All right. Here is Koror, and you can really see this is much more of an actual city, right? Like I said, there's only a few thousand people or so who live here, but you can tell that it's like far bigger than the other places over on the other island. And let me see, what should we look at? The Palau Aquarium. Hold on. I haven't seen this, so I hope these pictures are good. I want to see the aquarium. I'm always up for a good aquarium. Let's see. Oh, cool. You can see a Napoleon fish and turtles and fishies and a nautilus. Cool. That's amazing. Some of the incredible coral. There's so many cool coral reefs around Palau. And sharks. Palau's the world's first shark sanctuary. So there is no shark fishing allowed in the waters of Palau, which I think is neat. Ooh, that's a weird starfish. Because I think sharks are beautiful, beautiful fish. Ooh, giant clams. How neat. Oh, look, you can see the water under here and all the fishies. Some of the cool jellyfish, which we're going to check out in a minute. I'm going to show you the jellyfish lake last, I think, because it's near the south. So let's take a look at the rock islands. I'm going to go like this and pull up the destinations to see, so we can point out exactly the rock islands specifically, because there's so many. And I'm going to show you this slideshow here. So like, ooh, that's what they look like up close. Okay, maybe this isn't the right slideshow I wanted to show you, because you can look up palm trees anywhere, right? Let's look over here. I remember what I wanted to show you. Let's go up here, or maybe up there. I can't remember where I wanted to show you, so you can get a good idea of what these islands look like. No, but this is neat. We're on a boat out in the islands. I bet that water feels so nice. Okay, let me see. Oh, we have 3D here. cool. Oh, that's neat. Okay, maybe I'm just going to show you this angle. So some of the bigger islands here, and then they turn into these incredible, incredible blobby shapes. This is neat. This is better than what I wanted to show you. Look at the, see, you see what I mean when I was saying like oil on top of the water and it just kind of blobs around? It looks like that. There's Koror. Here's some more of the rock islands. Big old blobs. You can see some coral down here too in the water. The atoll there. Very cool, right? Big airport there. Here we go. Oh, we're going too far out. Okay. Oh, we went north, that's why. Right? Now I'm lost. Where are we? Let's go back to 2D. Yeah, we went north. Did we? I am so lost. There we go, Palau. You know why? Because this is the right way. Alright. Rock Islands. Ooh, here's a good spot. Look how neat that is. I wonder if I can go back to 3D without getting lost again. There we go. I've dropped a pin. I don't want to do that. And more of these incredible, incredible islands. Isn't this neat? Look at this. Soft coral arch. Let me see that. I haven't seen this, so. Oh, amazing. Wow. Oh, how beautiful. Oh my, look how colorful. Oh, there's the arch. That's fantastic. All right, let's go look at Palau. That's funny, I got lost. In this tiny island nation, I was like, wait, where am I? Over in the Rock Island still. Let's head over to Palau. Here we go. So in the language, P and B are kind of interchangeable. So Palau is also accepted as Palau. Palau can also be Palau. So on and so forth. Let me see if I can't. I don't want to look at the mangrove swamp. Okay, then let's do this again. Palau. Destinations. Koror, Palau. Here we go. So very old rusted out tanks and other World War II. Many Japanese died in this battle, like way more than Americans. So there's a shrine here to remember those who were lost. And very old army base here. It looks all bombed out. Big old, not a cannon, but like a aircraft firing thing. You can tell that I'm not a war person, right? Let's see. Ooh, secret caves. An old bomb there, all rusted. 75th anniversary of the Battle of Palau. To commemorate that. Some more beautiful islands there. Big old bomb. Isn't that neat? All overgrown now. Even though the war wasn't even 100 years ago, it looks like it was like thousands of years ago. Doesn't it? Ooh, I bet he was a veteran. Do you think? Do you think this guy was a veteran of the war? That's why he's taking that picture. Yeah. And then I need to show you the jellyfish lake. Ooh, maybe we can see some better pictures of the capital in this slideshow. Neat. I think we saw all the good ones. Oh, it's going to take a minute to load. A Korean monument for the Koreans who died in World War II. Oh, that's very kind. Let's see. Malakayuk. I think I have to find it. Yeah. Let's just cheat and go like this. Jellyfish Lake. Oh, it's up in Koror. I thought it was in Palau. I would have never found it. up here. I found it by accident wandering around Google Earth, which I was very fortunate, but I'm not about to look around for hours trying to re-find it. So here's Jellyfish Lake. So as you can see, it's very isolated. These gorgeous islands. I can't get enough of them. It's very isolated. It's fresh water, I believe, and the jellyfish that inhabit this lake are non-toxic. They're not venomous. So you can go on a boat and go diving. And, oh, cute. They're having fun. And see all the jellyfish and take some incredible photos with them, and you can swim around and be all close to these pretty little jellyfish. How cute. Isn't that awesome? Let me see. Do you think we could do a street view in Jellyfish Lake? Yes. Let's go. And then we'll wrap it up for the night. I hope this is underwater. How cool would that be? We're probably just on the lake. We're on a beach. Let's let it load. We're on a dock by the lake. Very cool. But yeah, it's a gorgeous little place. And it's like a big tourist area because it's like perfect for Instagram, right? Look at all the coral. How beautiful. And there's like a long waiting list to get to dive into Jellyfish Lake, and they restrict the amount of people who can go at a time because of environmental concerns, because that's a big concern in Palau, is preserving the environment. What's the Milky Way? What's this? Whoa, they got all muddy. How funny. It's probably just a name for the rock, huh? Or maybe this water. I mean, this water is gorgeous, right? Oh, how beautiful. Yeah, you get all muddy and you can draw on yourself. Wow. How fun. I bet it feels good. Some rock islands there. There's the boats. They're so pretty. Yeah, apparently you get all muddy. Yeah. They had fun. Alright, that's going to be it for tonight. Bubbly water. So thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you found this video relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a very good night.